I'm here with city manager, and we're going to wait for the camera.
It's okay.
Solidarity.
Right.
We're on here.
Okay, we are from here, just that the camera was walking and they're setting up. But I'm here with city manager Daniel Alfonso, deputy city manager Alice Bravo, chief financial officer and assistant city manager Fernando Casamayor, our assistant city manager Sari Igawaba, and our budget director Chris Rose. This is the team that will be talking to you, and this is the team that produced the budget that we are presenting to the City Commission of the City of Miami. The fiscal year budget for 2014-2015, if approved, it will lower overall the property tax rate of the City of Miami for the 4th year in a row. It would add 20 new police officers, 22 new firefighters, 8 police department public service aides, 2 new public works crews to address potholes and tree trimming in the City of Miami, and investment in infrastructure for parks, roof air conditioning and repairs, the police building repairs, replacement of vehicles citywide, and technology improvement. This budget does not lay off any city employee in the City of Miami. There is no proposal for any layoff in the city. We think that this is a very prudent budget, and you know, we have seen as a city that has come back, but the fact of the matter is that we need to be prudent, because although we have recovered, we have not finished our recovery. Our property tax collection next year will still be below what they were in fiscal year 2007-2008 and fiscal year 2008-2009. So we are also proposing increases for employees of the City of Miami across the board, but that's being discussed in bargaining between the unions and the City of Miami. I believe that this is a good budget for the residents of the City of Miami. I believe that Miami is really back, and public safety is paramount for the residents, so we will be addressing as a priority public safety in this budget. With that, I'd like to introduce the city manager of the City of Miami, Daniel Alfonso.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming. I think the mayor said all the important things that really are going on with the budget. I want to recognize the folks in the budget office, the budget director in particular, Christopher Rose, and the deputy director, Leon Mitchell, who's the tallest guy in the group here standing right behind me. They put a lot of hours into putting this budget together. I want to thank the mayor and all of the staff for being there with us and going through the proposal. As the mayor said, this proposed budget is balanced. It reduces the overall tax rate. It adds positions. It has no layoffs. It has funds for our proposed wage increases in the city. So it is a fair and balanced budget. Now it goes to the commission, and the commission has a period of 2 months to review the budget, to talk to us about what changes they may like to see in it. And we come back in September for the first and second budget hearings. Hopefully by the end of the month of September, we'll have a budget that is adopted for the City of Miami for fiscal year that, I just want to say again, thank you to the staff that has worked tremendously on this effort.
We will do this in Spanish, but if you have any questions for the city manager, for the CFO, the deputy manager, we're ready to respond.
I have a number of questions, but go ahead, Glenna, you go first.
Is he running the show? What is this?
No.
So what a difference a year makes.
I'm sorry?
What a difference a year makes. How did we do that?
What a difference.
Where are the protests?
What a difference 2 years made. Last year, it also was what we thought a good budget, was approved 5-0. It is a huge difference between today and 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when the City Commission had to go through the anguish of reducing salaries and benefits, but never laid off any employees in the city in these 4 years. But we have been able, by reducing taxes, we have been able to bring investment to the city of Miami, and there is no doubt that the project sector is betting in Miami again. We have all seen the construction that is going on. We believe that is solid construction. We believe that is giving the city a future, but we still are prudent in recognizing that we don't have the resources that we had back in 2007, nor that we can spend thinking that the future is going to be better. So this is why this team is being very cautious on the spending side. By the way, the manager didn't say it, but the city of Miami, when we came in 2009, had $13 million in reserve, and now we're close to $100 million, which is the threshold that the City Commission had for many years expected.
So the additional revenue, generally speaking, is construction related?
Right, I think Fernando Casamayor, the CFO, maybe
yeah, we had a 7.8% increase in the tax roll, including new construction. There's a lot of projects, there's a lot of cranes that you see on the skyline. Those have not come onto the tax roll yet, so the future appears to be very bright. But right now, we had a very surprising increase in 7.8. We were planning originally for a little less.
I don't know if this is a question for Fernando or for the mayor to chime in, but recently in the Herald there was an article about construction and how Miamians can't afford to live in Miami, and these are all foreign investors who are buying properties. As things may get better in South America and people don't look to bring their money over here, do you see that, or do you think or project that maybe these new jobs will only be on the table here for a couple of years, because then we're not going to have the money from property taxes in years to come?
One of the reasons why we're being careful in the growth is precisely that. As we see, part of our revenue growth is related to permitting and new construction, but that is a one-time type of revenue. So we're careful in growing our benefits and recurring expenses at a slower pace, so that if there is a drop-off in that type of revenue, which we expect there will be, we are not in a position where we were 3 or 4 years ago, and we may have to break contracts to get to the numbers. We have enough flexibility in the budget in terms of allocations to capital and other one-time expenses that if the revenue is reduced, we can cut back into one-time expenses, and you're still in balance.
And how big of a
concern is it that might be a very big reality in a couple of years?
It is obviously of concern. When we look at our budget, we also include a 5-year outlook in there. So we take our benefits expenditures and project them out over a rate of 5 years, assuming certain growth in cost, and look at revenue projections and see what the probability of a reduction or a slowdown is, and we try to ascertain where we run into trouble. We believe that in 2018, there may be a reduction in the amount of new construction. And hopefully, by that time, not hopefully, but by that time, the construction that is taking place today should then start kicking in terms of the value of property being added, because those buildings would have certificates of occupancy, et cetera, and would be added to the tax roll. So there is a little bit of a trade-off there.
Mr. Manager, I have some specific questions about some of the specific line items. You have an increase of $1,200,000 for the city attorney's office and an increase in personnel from 41 to 55 employees. Would you care to?
The city attorney's office is requesting, and we are recommending that they receive additional staff. The city attorney's office was cut back in relationship to 2002, for example. The city attorney's office today had less employees than they did in 2002. Yet the number of demands on their services has not diminished in any way. In fact, in some cases, it has increased due to public information requests, etc., and many other things, so that they're requesting additional staff to meet the needs of demands that they have. Furthermore, they have committed that they will try to do additional work in-house rather than hire external contractors.
Could you expand on those other things you just mentioned?
Just lawsuits, etc.
So,
What kind of lawsuits?
Lawsuits that come up.
how about public records?
RFPs. The world we live in is very litigious, and employees have workers' compensation issues. Police officers fall on the job, or a person tripped and fell. Those kinds of activities don't diminish. They continue to increase.
Aren't you
And the
also?
law department staffing needs to be appropriate to respond to those workloads.
Aren't you also going to hire some people to start dealing with public records? And aren't you also going to be buying some new software?
Yes.
Okay, so the other thing, several other things, but one is your neighborhood enhancement team, you're increasing almost double the employees, yet the expenditure of monies is only increasing by $500,000.
Yes. The reason for that is one of the things that we're doing in this proposed budget is we're proposing to add, if we agree with the labor groups, 128 full-time positions. And what those positions are actually doing is not really adding new positions, it is converting to full-time city employees that for a long time have been treated as temporary employees. So the cost of those employees is in the budget already in large part, so that the additional expense of bringing them to full-time status is really only the pension cost. Because the city is going into what's called the living wage starting October 1st. So any employee that earns under about $12.50 an hour will go up to that level, according to our ordinance. And we're providing health care to all employees that work more than 35 hours a week. So these temps that currently are on the city's payroll and don't have those benefits will now have those benefits, so that adding them to the workforce doesn't really add a lot of additional expense, except for the pension, which is something that we're going to be negotiating for.
Mr. Manager, can you characterize what this year's negotiations with the unions have been? Seeing three-quarters of the budget is labor, and do you see, broad forecasting out, do you see the pension issue still being unsustainable to this city, like people have said in years past?
We are in negotiations with all four of our labor groups. We're not in agreement. The proposal in this budget contemplates some wage increase. The labor groups are negotiating with us, and they're asking for different numbers. We think that we can move forward with negotiations, and we hope that we will reach agreement before the end of September.
And can I just ask a quick follow-up, if I could, sorry? If not, it seems like you're choosing your words very diplomatically, but the problem remains. You have a budget you're proposing that is based on an agreement of some sort. Do you know?
No, we not presuppose an agreement. We propose a budget. We do estimate a cost for what we have proposed. If we don't reach an agreement, then we continue to operate under the current agreement, as the law states, until we reach an agreement. If at the end we reach an agreement that is richer than what we have thought, then we would have to amend the budget to reduce other things in the budget, whether it be reserves or capital expenses or whatever, depending on the size of that difference. Yes.
Mayor, this is for you. Speaking with the head of the police union, obviously there have been some past tensions there that are probably ongoing. He says that this is not the time to continue to ask for any concessions from officers when you guys are in a surplus, you are able to add positions. What's your reaction to that? Is this the time to restore some of the benefits?
No, I think that we, although they're very public, we have a great relationship with the police union. We're meeting with them this afternoon. The police union, on this fiscal year, they have received, all the officers have received bonus, and you cannot call it a raise, but you can call money into the pocket when they had to deposit less on the pension plan. What this budget is proposing is raises for all the union employees, and we hope that we can get an agreement, a 2-year contract with the police union. Actually, we had a contract, we had agreement about 4 or 5 months ago, but the troops voted it down, and now we're back to talking to them. But I think that I really believe that the city employees are seeing that we are doing the things that we're doing in good faith. So the next mayor, 5 years from now, won't have to come before the commission and declare fiscal urgency because of that, because of what happened in 2009 when we had a deficit of $118 million. I really believe that we can reach agreements with the unions. I think in this budget you have fundamental issues that they care about, like buying new police cars. We have in this budget buying new equipment for the fire department. We're doing something so we can build yet another fire station. And by the way, 3 fire stations have been built under our watch in the last 4 years, and this is unheard of. It never happened since 30 years ago. So I think that they see that we're doing in good faith, but like the manager said, we are apart on what they want and what we think is prudent. And we're just not going to compromise the future of the city just because we feel that there's so many buildings being built in Brickell and Omni in downtown. So I'm very optimistic that we can reach agreement with the unions.
Mr. Mayor, to go back to the point that this gentleman here made about the fact that a lot of people feel that people in Miami can't afford to buy apartments or condos in these new buildings. Isn't it a fact that it's the result of Hugo Chavez and a lot of these leftist governments in South America that supposedly you have said is causing people to come to Miami?
That's a question.
It's a question. Did
Yes.
you say that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
no, I just...
And that's a reality. The reality is that Latin America that is unstable, it's coming to the United States, and the best gateway to come is the city of Miami. Why? Because of the diversity, because of the language, because of the climate, and because they see this as a Latin American city with the safeguards of the U.S. laws that protect their investment. But that's not, I think, the main engine that is running the day-to-day growth of the city of Miami. If you look at those buildings, you see that most of those buildings are rentals, and people are moving in to downtown, to the Miami River. People that work in the city, in the core of the city, in the civic center, in the health district, they're moving in to rent. And in downtown Miami, we have new residents, and these are not like absentees people. We saw it when we opened Museum Park, that hundreds of residents across the street came to enjoy. So we're confident that Miami is growing, and Miami is growing because people want the amenities. But is there investment from Latin America? Actually, there is investment from Europe. There is investment from Spain. Yadro, the well-known store, is coming to the design district to distribute the Yadro projects to the United States. In Madrid, two new Galerías Preciadas and El Corte Inglés are moving to Brickell at the end of the year to start their technology division in the United States. They want to come into the United States. I mean, El Corte Inglés is a big deal. It is a big deal, and we closed that commitment in Madrid. So there's more than Latin America, and we are really confident in the future. But going back to what has been said, yeah, we believe that construction somehow will stop. That's why we have the EB-5. We are the only municipal entity to own and operate an investor visa center in the United States of America, approved by Homeland Security. The city of Dallas has one, but it's being managed by a private company. So it is not only about construction, it's only about bringing some more diversity to the investment in the city.
Would you care to?
Okay, let's do it in Spanish, and then we can...
Oh, we can come back to English.
We have been waiting 35 minutes. 5 minutes.
En la mañana de hoy estamos presentando el presupuesto que nuestra administración llevará a la comisión para su discusión y aprobación el próximo mes de septiembre, el presupuesto del año 2014 al año 2015. Este es un buen presupuesto, es un presupuesto prudente, es un presupuesto que tiene aumentos para los empleados, que tiene una reducción de los impuestos a la propiedad por 4 años consecutivos y que incluye, entre otras cosas, 20 nuevos oficiales de la policía, 22 nuevos bomberos, 8 ayudantes de servicio público de la policía y 2 equipos para obras públicas para realizar trabajos de corte de árboles y bacheo en la ciudad. Asimismo, no hay ninguna propuesta para despedir a ningún empleado de la ciudad de Miami. Con esto quisiera presentar al administrador de la ciudad de Miami, Daniel Alfonso.
Muchas gracias, señor alcalde. Yo simplemente quiero darle las gracias al equipo de trabajo que tenemos en la ciudad, en la oficina del presupuesto. Han hecho una gran labor, el director Christopher Rose y el señor que está aquí atrás de mí. Ellos han trabajado largas horas para preparar el presupuesto de la ciudad por el año fiscal 14-15. Le doy las gracias al alcalde por su liderazgo y a todos los otros empleados que nos han ayudado a poner este presupuesto delante de la comisión. Ahora viene un periodo de estudio para la comisión, de determinar cuáles cambios quieren hacer para aprobar finalmente este presupuesto en septiembre, para comenzar el nuevo año fiscal.
Para explicarle a la gente qué ha marcado la diferencia, porque hace 4 o 3 años veíamos cada año una guerra que parecía interminable con los sindicatos. ¿Qué influyó este año para que las cifras cambiaran?
Bueno, la recuperación de la ciudad comenzó en el año 2010, vamos a decir, cuando la comisión y la administración y la alcaldía de la ciudad tomaron una decisión muy difícil de reducir beneficios a los empleados, reducir los planes de pensiones, etc. Y eso puso la ciudad en camino a una recuperación, en el sentido de que cuando empezaron a aumentar lentamente los valores de las propiedades, los costos de la ciudad estaban bajo control. En los últimos 3 años los presupuestos han incrementado poco a poco, los gastos también han incrementado. Algunos de las cosas que se recortaron al principio han sido restauradas, no todas, algunas han sido restauradas. Este presupuesto que está aquí contempla algunos incrementos de salarios, no tanto como les gustaría a las personas con las cuales estamos negociando, pero va en la dirección de incremento. ¿Okay? Eso es permitido, ¿por qué? Porque cuando se hicieron los recortes eran permanentes y eran recortes que ahora podemos empezar a crecer poco a poco.
Ahora, ¿no es peligroso entonces que en 5 años o en 8 años, cuando ya no haya el boom de construcción, vuelva de nuevo el problema con el tema de salarios y beneficios?
Por eso es importante que cuando hablamos de crecimiento en los costos de la ciudad, y sabemos que el costo laboral es el costo más grande que tiene la ciudad, es importante crecer esa parte del presupuesto moderadamente, considerando qué va a pasar en el futuro. Cuando los ingresos que estamos recibiendo ahora por permisos de construcción, etc., se terminen, porque obviamente las grúas no van a estar ahí por siempre. Entonces hay un periodo de como 2 años que pasa antes de que los impuestos de valores de esos edificios que han sido construidos entren al presupuesto de la ciudad, en una forma permanente. Entonces, cuando miramos a los incrementos que estamos proponiendo, estamos mirando hacia el futuro. Y dentro del presupuesto estamos poniendo gastos que son gastos de una vez. Por ejemplo, estamos poniendo dinero para mejorar nuestra infraestructura, para comprar vehículos, cambiar alfombras, mantener techos. Esos son gastos que no pasan todos los años, pero lo hacemos ahora. Cuando tengamos ese periodo de no tanto crecimiento quizás, podemos disminuir eso un poco y absorber entonces el costo del salario, incremento por labor, etc.
Se habla de un incremento de un 2%, sin embargo los sindicatos piden 5%. ¿Qué es lo que es poco sostenible para la ciudad frente a la capacidad del retiro? Creo que para ustedes después se les hace difícil, ¿no es cierto?
Es decir, ¿cuál es la oferta que ustedes están haciendo? ¿Quiénes disfrutarían de esa oferta de aumento de salario? Específicamente, ¿quién?
Las ofertas que le hemos hecho son a todos los sindicatos por igual. Yo creo que usted se refirió de 2 a 5 es específicamente...
Ellos piden un 5, ustedes ofrecen un 2.
Sí, pero eso es muy específico a una negociación que estábamos teniendo con un grupo de sindicatos.
Bueno, con los bomberos, ¿no?
No, ese de 2 a 5 era con los empleados generales. Pero en teoría, cuando hacemos cambios de presupuestos que son permanentes, son gastos que se adquieren por siempre. Entonces, si vamos a hacer ese tipo de cambio, que estamos proponiendo algo de eso, no tanto como lo que se ha recortado en el pasado, ¿no? O sea, no vamos a estar al nivel que estábamos en el 2009. Vamos a empezar a ir hacia allá, pero no estamos ahí. Pero cuando hacemos esos gastos permanentes, eso tiene una repercusión en el futuro. Por eso no estamos proponiendo subir tanto, sino un poquito.
¿Qué es lo que se les hace no sostenible para que la gente lo entienda por el hecho que no pueden hacer un aumento tan amplio ahora, porque después en el futuro significa una carga para el retiro de estas personas, ¿no es cierto?
No solamente el retiro, costos del seguro social, el presupuesto de la ciudad en términos de los empleados, los salarios nada más representan más del 50% del presupuesto. Cuando le suman los beneficios de pensión, salud, etcétera, se excede el 70%. Es costo laboral. Entonces, si tenemos 70% del presupuesto de la ciudad en costo laboral, es insostenible crecer sin control. Por eso estamos proponiendo crecer paulatinamente.
Alcalde, ¿me puedo preguntar algo? Alcalde, ¿me puede dar un promedio o el total de cuántos policías han ingresado a la ciudad durante el último año? Porque estos 20 se vienen sumando a otros. ¿Cuántos? Y obviamente es una diferencia grande con lo que vimos ayer en el condado, en el tema de contratación de policías y de bomberos. ¿Por qué? ¿De dónde salió esto? Cuéntame un poquito cómo surgió.
Y por eso es que tanto el año pasado como este año se están añadiendo nuevos policías. policía. Nosotros ya estamos al nivel requerido y planeamos irnos sobre ese nivel. En los últimos 18 meses han ingresado más de 100 policías aquí a la ciudad como nuevos oficiales. Afortunadamente, este año no tenemos muchos que se jubilan. Sí sabemos que el año 2015 van a haber decenas de jubilaciones, por eso nos estamos preparando para mantener el nivel de agentes de la policía. Además, estos 6 oficiales de servicios públicos que se van a contratar específicamente para dirigir el tráfico en el downtown. O sea, en vez de semáforos, policías en vivo, agentes de servicio público con sus uniformes dirigiendo el tráfico. Esto es un acuerdo que se llevó con la Agencia de Desarrollo del Downtown. Tiene que ver con calidad de vida. Además de eso, se siguen sacando más. El administrador ha ordenado a la policía de continuar viendo a los policías en oficinas, contratando civiles para suplantarlos si se puede y sacar esos policías afuera.
Alcalde, usted habló de que está trayendo inversión extranjera para traer más recursos a la ciudad y de hecho tapar esos huecos que pueden dar al futuro cuando la construcción baje, ¿no es cierto?
Definitivamente, la construcción no es sostenible. Nosotros tenemos que pensar en nuevas iniciativas y por eso estamos tratando de atraer capital de inversión para negocios que no son de construcción, la informática, el tema de la salud, las tiendas, los restaurantes. Estas son las inversiones que estamos buscando para tener una economía sostenible y yo creo que lo estamos logrando. Yo creo que en la ciudad se está creando un clima, un ambiente de que los inversionistas tienen confianza para hacer más que la construcción. Sabemos que la construcción en algún momento va a terminar, pero por eso es que estamos tomando esas cosas.
¿Qué empresas tienen? ¿Qué empresas que estaban mencionando?
Por ejemplo, nosotros tenemos empresas como Yadro, se va a establecer en el distrito del diseño. El Corte Inglés se va a establecer en el área de Brickell con su división de informática y van a expandir sus distintas divisiones aquí en Miami. Ya tienen una pequeña agencia de pasaje que la van a expandir también. Tenemos importación de vinos que vienen aquí del área de España. Tenemos el equipo Real Madrid que está abriendo un restaurante aquí en Miami, únicamente uno en Dubái y otro aquí en Miami. Hay una diversidad de inversiones y nosotros estamos muy confiados en eso.
Mr. Mayor, in English, no, we need...
Alcalde, se me olvidó la pregunta. Se lo juro.
No digo yo con esto de la interrupción.
Se me olvidó. Go ahead, I forgot.
No, I want to address this in English because Miami is has the third highest income inequality in the country. And construction jobs, while they're short-term, are not a long-term solution to employment in the city. Now, you talked about the fact that the original set of condos along Brickell Avenue and whatever are now being rented out. But they're being rented...
I did not say that. I said that some of the construction, remember, in the Miami River, in the Omni and the Edgewater area are rentals. People that are moving from the suburbs that work in the city center or the health district or downtown Miami are opting to rent. People that are downsizing are opting to rent. If you look at the building department permitting, you will see that you have a lot of buildings that are for rental. 2 in the river, 2 in Edgewater, 2 in the Omni, 1 is coming up across the street from the school board next to the arch. And these are our private people. These people know what they're doing. They won't invest. The city has nothing to do with their business plan, so they won't invest if they don't. So Yes, we understand that the construction jobs are unsustainable for many years. That's why we are opting to get investment to do another things in the health area, in the tourism-related area. So that's what it is.
But-
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Usted conoció que el señor Beckham está iniciando una negociación aparentemente con Broward. ¿Le preocupa el hecho de que lo culpen a usted en el futuro, de que el estadio no vino a Miami por cuenta suya?
No, a mí no me preocupa en ningún momento que me culpen de que el estadio de Beckham no esté en la ciudad de Miami. Se hizo lo correcto, nosotros nos debemos a los residentes, nosotros seguiremos debiéndonos a los residentes. Si el señor Beckham decide ir a Broward, pues esa es su prerrogativa y todavía nosotros pensamos que pueden explorar áreas en la ciudad de Miami y daremos la bienvenida. So,
But we need, how about the EB5 program? The EB5 program is a very important program. If you're saying that this is a city program, who's on the board? Who is overseeing this money that supposedly is being handed out?
yes,
How is that process being done?
Actually, we will have a press conference on EB5 in August. So we're going to take a commercial break and we'll be back with more on the budget on September 11th.